What's going on, Dan K Show fans? We are back, and we are getting ready for a hockey season that at this point, I think it just felt like it was never coming. It felt like it couldn't come fast enough. I was waiting since the end of the last season, since it ended a way we all didn't want to see. We wanted a champion. We wanted to see who would be crowned victorious, who would raise that cup, and we never got a chance to see it. And for so many hockey players, that miss was something that might have ended a junior hockey career, ended a time in a city that they loved, or sent them off to college. And I start today's show by thanking all of those players, the coaches, the staff, for an incredible 2019-2020 season that has set us up for the opportunity to come back. It's redemption season, baby, and that's thing number one of Dan K's three things. Redemption. It's time to redeem this hockey world. It's time to hit the ice, take the ice, and play in the best league in the planet. Is going to be playing games all season long starting in September. It is September, and that's thing number two. Wake Me Up When September Ends is a thing that this horrific band that no one should listen to sang once. But I'll tell you what, it's Green Day. It's payday for a lot of these players where they got to pay off now. All that off-season work, that extra time they had during pandemic, during quarantine, you got to pay off now. You got to get into the green. We got to get into the green zone, as Tom Coughlin used to call it, with an angry smirk on his face. I don't know how to make an angry smirk. The Joker does. Thing number three. You're a fan of countdown clocks, man. USPHL.com has got it for you. Countdown clocks aplenty. They're going Oprah Winfrey with the countdown clock. You get a countdown clock. You get a countdown clock. You get a countdown clock. And we didn't get a countdown clock. Where's the Dan K Show's countdown clock? Everybody's got one. Go to USPHL.com, find out more about the season, find out where your countdown clock will lead you and when your season begins, whether it's the NCDC, the Premier, the Elite, the Midget Division. When are we starting? I cannot wait, but we cannot start. We cannot start without introducing in my right-hand man, my consigliere, mon frere from another mare. A man who decided to take the Dan K Show retreat without Dan K. He's at the beach. He's living the dream. He's dressed right now as a semi-professional, not professional golfer, and it's Lucas Jones. What's going on, Lucas?
Well, you know, the shorts make me the semi-pro golfer. You can't wear shorts on the tour. That's a rule. They should be changed. But yeah, Dan, this weekend was, you know, the last sort of week we said before the start of the season, so I took a little bit of a retreat. And that duty calls, and we got to record an episode, and we got to get this out because the season is starting. We are barreling headlong towards the beginning of the USPHL season. So I've got the beach house in that direction, the beach in that direction, where I will be after we are done filming this episode.
I'm over here surviving about 19 jobs of work here, just making it through, surviving the pandemic, trying to shed some weight again, Lucas, getting back into the running game. They opened up the gym here, and it's been booked. You got to book it through an app, Lucas. 100% booked every minute. I'm looking at the names on there. So I haven't seen anybody in that gym. You know what I mean? If you're the person in my apartment building booking that gym on me, I am upset with you because Dan K's got to get in there. I'm tired of running outside with all the regular folk. You know, I got to get on the treadmill. It makes me feel better, Lucas. It makes me feel faster.
That's all you got to do. I mean, the only exercise I've really had this week is moving the cornhole boards from the house to the beach and then back to the house. All the work I put in for the last 8 weeks is gone. I've been eating nothing but burgers and chicken and sauteed mushrooms. But after this week, you hunker down. You got 3 more weeks to really hit it hard. And then I got to stuff myself back into a suit.
That's going to be exciting. And Dan K is officially announcing that he's looking at a little season-long beach retreat here, Lucas. I think I'm going Rocky Balboa style, where when he goes out to train in the wilderness, but me, it's going to be on the beach. So we might have some cool Dan K content from the beach all winter long, getting ready. And maybe I can finally pay off on a bet with a friend of the show, Scott Sturgeon.
I think that'll be good. And, I mean, who knows? We might get a Dan K Show Studio E, Studio F. I don't know what we're up to now.
We got a lot of studios. There's a couple hotels that have served as studios as well. But let's get into the brass tacks here, Lucas. Let's get into what we want to talk about this week. And the first thing we got to talk about is division realignment at the Premier and the NCDC level, right? There's a lot of moving parts, a lot of things happening. And the Premier, obviously, the best Tier 3 experience in the game of hockey. It really, really provides these players an opportunity to move on to the next level, to make big things happen. And there are a ton of teams moving around, a lot of shifting, a lot of moving to make these divisions better for travel, for play, for these organizations. Lucas, where do you want to start? I mean, you can start anywhere, but maybe we start out west.
Yeah, Dan, I say we start out west and we really start to talk about some of these new teams that have joined the league. Before we do that, I do have to acknowledge that being at the beach
Is the ice
does
cream
have
guy
its
there?
downsides because the ice cream truck is behind me, Dan. But we're gonna press on regardless. I say we head out west. We talk about some of these teams out there because one of the most interesting things that's happened in the USPHL is the addition of these teams out west that make up these new conferences, and then you get the division realignments in the East on top of that.
Yep.
If you thought you knew the USPHL last year, let's say you thought you were two hockey guys from Jersey who thought they had kind of the angle on what the league looked like and what the competitive balance was, well, you could just go ahead and throw that out the window, much like an ice cream guy would throw a toasted almond eclair out the window at you.
What ice cream guys are you around that are throwing ice cream at you? Oh, there's the ice cream bell now. That's letting everyone know on the beach. For those of you who have never been to LBI, that bell means that there is ice cream coming. Can you go interview the ice cream person? You want to go grab?
Yeah, I'll see. We'll see how it looks in a couple of minutes.
Oh, my God, that's great. But you look at it, Lucas, on top of there being a lot more hockey for us to look at out west here with these 10 new teams coming in the Pacific and Mountain Division, we also have some new friends. You look at the Fresno Monsters. They do a great job with their Monster Vision. They have themselves their own little podcast going on out there. Can't wait to talk to them. In that Pacific Division, you got the Southern Oregon Spartans, the Las Vegas Thunderbirds, the Anaheim Avalanche, and the San Diego Sabres. These are teams that have really made a name for themselves out west, have put themselves in positions to really make something happen in a new league. And that Pacific Division, it's going to be, I'll tell you, it's a different game when you fly out west or you fly out east here and you go back and forth. Very interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool, I think, to be able to welcome some of these teams in. And, you know, especially with some of the restrictions on travel that we have, obviously, this year due to the pandemic, it's going to be really, really beneficial to have that number of competitive teams out in the West, out on the coast. I think it's going to be really an injection because when you have one or two new teams, you're sometimes banking on those teams immediately making an impact. When you have added as many teams as the USPHL has this year, it really does feel like a whole new season, a whole new league. You've obviously got the teams that are sort of the legacy teams that we know are good in the Premier, the teams, the Midwest West, who are constantly upending our power rankings. You know, you've got the Florida teams who travel everywhere and welcome these Northeast teams, as they did with the IHC Premier team last year. The previously undefeated Islanders Hockey Club came down to Florida, went 0-4, got knocked around by those Florida teams. So I think this adds another competitive region. I think this adds a little bit of a wrinkle into the formula of some of these more established teams. I can't wait to see it.
I love the whole new world talk there, man. This Mountain and Pacific Division. This is a whole new world of hockey. Some dazzling rinks we've never seen. There's no one to tell these guys no, they can't win a championship or where to go to get it done, because now we're in a whole new league with them. You know, and that's really Dan K's Aladdin break of the day, and we're going to get a lot of Dan K references this year. For those of you out west watching for the first time, we had to deal with Pueblo. You mean Pueblo? We got made fun of by everybody out in Pueblo there. Apologies, we'll never make that mistake again, although we probably will. The Ogden Mustangs, Northern Colorado Eagles, and Pueblo, man. It's going to be a nice little battle there in Colorado. The Provo River Blades and the Utah Outliers. This is a big-time Pacific and Mountain division. And, Lucas, in addition to this new setup out west now, adding these 10 teams in, we've also had some shake-up and make-up here in the Mid-Atlantic division, a division that at the end of the season last year, I will tell you, they were up there with the Southeast and the Midwest West as the three best divisions in the country in Tier 3 hockey, man. They were unstoppable. They were dominating. They had 4 different teams that went on winning streaks of 8 or more games at some point in the final 3 months of the season. And you look at it now, this has become a 10-team division. This is going to be a tough division to get out of, a tough place to play day in and day out. And you look at it, Lucas, for me, I think the most exciting thing I'm ready for is this New York Aviator squad, because we talked to Mike Stanaway a bunch this offseason. We bumped into him a bunch on the road at a lot of these recruiting missions out here. And this is a guy who feels very confident in what he's putting together, and he thinks he has more offensive firepower than he did last year. And this guy lost hundreds of points in forwards.
Yeah, I mean, he's talking about having to replace 350 points that 4 players sort of took with them. But, Coach Mike Stanway is as excited as I've ever seen him about this New York Aviators team, which is interesting now because of this Mid-Atlantic division with 10 teams inside of it, Dan. You're already looking at this New York Aviator team, which Coach Mike Stanway is excited about. You're looking at this Rockets Hockey Club team, which at the premier level has been nothing short of absolutely dominant in last season, seasons previously, and especially in the second half of the season. Then you look farther down at the Utica Junior Comets team, which always has the sort of depth at goaltender that lends well to a successful premier season. And let's not count out the Philadelphia Hockey Club. We ran into a couple of those coaches out at the Metro Jet Showcase, and they are jazzed. They are absolutely jazzed about the way this PHC team looks. And with those 4 teams, you're looking at the newcomers, the Elmira Junior Enforcers, and they're walking into a bit of a grind here. They're going to have to really work their way through some divisional powerhouses to be able to fight for those playoff spots. This is going to be an interesting division to watch all season.
And Lucas, the team in this Mid-Atlantic division I want to talk about is the Elmira Junior Enforcers. This is going to be a brand new squad coming in. We talked to their owner and coach out in Detroit with the Metro Jets setup out there, and when we're talking to them, this is a team that they're really working to put the right guys on the ice for their team. And they really want to work to get these players to the next level. They really want to do all the right things out in Elmira. And I think they're going to be able to do it. But you look at the division they're walking into, they're going to have to play the Hitmen. They're going to have to play the Philadelphia Hockey Club, the Utica Junior Comets. This Buffalo Thunder team is tough to play on the road. The Rockets Hockey Club, Skipjacks, PAL, Connecticut Junior Rangers. You can't tell me that Connecticut and PAL aren't ready to have a big premier season. They've had a couple years where they've been teetering. You have their moments, their flashes of greatness, and then they've kind of fallen off. I think this is going to be a division that you could see 7 or 8 teams competitive looking towards the postseason. You go to New England and you look at the addition of the Boston Advantage. Who knows what that New England division is going to look like as well?
Well, I can tell you what, Dan, if the Boston Advantage premier team is sort of any indicated by their NCDC squad, this is going to be a big team. This is going to be a fast team and a skilled team. And the Boston Advantage are really a good addition and a tough addition there. But the Elmira Junior Enforcers, Dan, they remind me of the Atlanta Mad Hatters a little bit, not just in the way that they've taken to social media and they've really sort of expounded on that, but I think also their approach so far. We've sort of seen a couple of interviews that have popped up from the team, and after getting to meet the gentleman from the Atlanta Mad Hatters last season, it looks like this is a team that is focused on discipline, focused on development, and focused on winning hockey games and not afraid to win a tough hockey game. That Atlanta Mad Hatter squad last year was the definition of rough, tumble, hard edge, hard-nosed team. And the Elmira Junior Enforcers, I think I would love to see a really hard-nosed squad go up against some of these more stereotypically speed-heavy squads like the Rockets Hockey Club, like the New York Aviators. It adds a lot of depth and I think a lot of interesting mixes and matches.
Yeah, and then, I mean, the 2 that we haven't talked about yet are the 3. You talk about the Midwest, West, and East, and you talk about the Southeast. And Lucas, this Southeast division, man, every year, they just keep getting better. You see a Potomac Patriots team that only goes out and adds Keenan Waters. This is a team that, we talked about it, the growth in this organization the last few years. They went from an afterthought at times with some of these squads out in the Southeast, and now they're competing with everybody in the country, including those big-time Rush, Generals, Whalers names. And you had this Junior Kane squad in there that they're relentless. They're never ending. The depth is incredible in Carolina. The Southeast Division, Lucas, you could put all 5 of these teams on any rink anywhere in the country, and they could potentially come out with a win.
Yeah, and they have. They've done exactly that. They've gone to every division. They've played every team. They've come out with wins. They're well coached. The organizational structure is always incredible. They have the facilities, they have the support. And, you look at that Potomac Patriots team, like you said, sometimes that 5th man out of that conversation, the Southeast. You look at the season they had last year, and you want to talk about the Potomac Patriots being right in the mix. They are right in the mix, especially with the addition of Waters. He's kind of a natural leader, extremely graceful on the ice, very, very skilled player. So this Southeast division, you talk about now the realignment. You have these big 10-team, 7-team divisions, and then you've got these small, super competitive divisions like the ones out west, like the Southeast, where it's just knockdown, drag out every weekend. We've interviewed players and coaches who say, well, you're lucky to come out with a 1-1 sometimes on a weekend just because of how tough each individual weekend is.
You want to know about your premier division, your premier team, and you haven't heard about them yet, we're going to be talking about them again next week, so make sure to tune in. But now, Lucas, we got to turn to the NCDC squads. I want to get into the NCDC. I want to talk a little bit about this new setup. You got the Boston Advantage jumping in. You got the Philadelphia Hockey Club jumping in this year. It's going to be a big-time year in the NCDC, and this is, yet again, a league that last year, what do we see, Lucas? Anybody's ball game, and now you're seeing it broken into a North and South division, something that we've talked about for a long time, Lucas. We thought that that might have been the best way to really create a good competitive balance in this thing, really dig through it. And the league has seen that, and they've really gone after it this year with these North and South divisions. I cannot wait to see some of these division rivalries that are going to form.
Yeah, this is going to be great. I mean, with every expansion comes almost a sort of breaking point, a schism between the teams, and organizing it in the North and South makes so much sense. You've got the teams up in Maine, you've got 2 teams in New Hampshire, you've got those teams in Massachusetts. But then with the addition of teams like the Boston Advantage, it makes the league a little bit bigger. Then with the addition of the Philadelphia Hockey Club, you sort of saw that break out. And I think we had been talking when Philadelphia Hockey Club got added, we sort of looked at each other and went, oh, we're getting a Southern NCDC here. You're starting to drag some real talent, some real weight down around. Is New Jersey the locus point for hockey talent on the Northeast? Maybe we'll be able to claim that the teams in this area might be better. And I think it does. It does kind of bring something else interesting into play, because the Northeast is always sort of this mecca of hockey, especially in the NCDC. With some of these Southern teams from Connecticut, from Jersey, from Long Island, from Philly. I mean, Jersey's already got the best pizza and bagels. Maybe this part of the country might also have the best hockey come end of the season.
And you look at LIU launching a program as well to Division I level. You're seeing this hockey world creep down a little bit. People are seeing, and I think a lot of this expansion in the game of hockey locally comes from the ideas being portrayed by the USPHL, by the NCDC, by the Premier and Elite. The idea that this is hockey's backyard, and the footprint of college hockey is so huge in this area. And if you're a player, I got to tell you, as a former athlete myself at this level, at the collegiate level, there's nothing worse than spending weeks on a bus to get to a game, to get to a weekend, living out of the hotel, back on the bus, driving another 15, 12 hours, 15 hours, 18 hours back to your home rink to finally go to bed. Look at the travel in these divisions, Lucas. When you're in the South, the furthest trip you're making is Philadelphia Hockey Club out to Utica. The furthest trip you're making in the North is Twin City down to the Boston Junior Bruins or South Shore Kings in Foxborough. That's a couple hours, Lucas. It's amazing just how short some of these trips have become in the NCDC and how good of a job they've done of limiting travel time, which allows players to do more of what? Training, working out, hard work on weekdays, getting out to the games with fresh skates, and never skating in front of a scout after an 18-hour bus ride.
No, you never want to do that. And you know, in one sense, it really helps out with the ability to rest these players. And in another sense, too, you got to acknowledge where we are right now. And making it hyper-regional, making these regions much smaller allows for better travel and less restrictions in terms of who is allowed to play who, how many days of rest or separation these players need to have.
And with that, Lucas, we're going to head on to the empty net, the portion of the show that we close out with each and every week with your 2 favorite hosts.
Welcome to the empty net.
Welcome back to the empty net, the portion of the show we close out with your outreach to the Dan K Show. But because we snuck this first week in front of you here, our summer training for the Dan K Show, we got to get ourselves back in shape before we start throwing these episodes everywhere. We ask you to start reaching out yet again at @the_Dan K Show. We've been seeing all your commitments, all of your accomplishments all offseason, the hard work these players have been putting in, and the travel the parents have been doing to get them in front of the right scouts and eyes and coaches around the country. Keep reaching out. Keep finding us, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at @the_Dan K Show, or contact us at www.dankshow.com. Last big announcement of the week, Lucas, an incredible partnership with the Elite Junior Profiles has formed. That's elitejrprofiles.com. Lucas, what a one-stop shop for players to find their way through the junior hockey experience.
They're absolutely incredible. The depth that they go into with some of these player profiles to be able to increase their visibility. That's what it's all about, right? The internet right now is a busy freeway. And if you can get your car colored in some crazy color with the help of Elite Junior profiles, it'll be a lot easier to pick you out of a crowd. They do great work over there.
We're going to be talking with them all season long, working alongside them all season long. Again, go sign up at EliteJRProfiles.com. Let them know the Dan K Show sent you. With that in mind, I go to Lucas, your parting words from the beach for today's broadcast. All right, have fun laying out in the sun while I work and slave away the day all day long, just working. It's not as nice up in Wayne, New Jersey as it is down in LBI. I'm very disappointed, Lucas, but I hope you have an incredible time. With that in mind, when Dan K's on the mic, it's always hockey night. Keep watching the Dan K Show each and every week.